we'd like to begin our panel discussion by asking, what would you tell your 24-year-old self during this time? Tess, why don't you begin?
Well, if I were giving advice to my 24-year-old self, I would say establish good habits. And little stuff just builds up. And so what you want is you want the good stuff on autopilot so you could increase your value over time. One of my good habits is actually surrounding myself with smarter people, and you'll meet some of them today. And with everyone online, available and free, it's a great time to connect with experts.
Mariana?
Well, I am 61 years old, and I grew up in communist Romania under terrible poverty, and I went to school without food very, very often. And we had no indoor bathroom, and we were really poor. And I turned out all right today, as it turns out, not in spite of it, but because of it. And so my advice would be that whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. If you believe in yourself, if you stand guard at the entrance of your mind, you are the only person thinking in your mind. What do you allow to get in there? So only positive people, as Tess said, and thoughts and ideas should enter your mind that empower you. That allow you to take a multi-perspectival perspective, which helps you be compassionate and have empathy with those who think differently. So that would be my top advice. Spend 20% on the problem and 80% on the solution.
Thank you. Jill?
Well, after college, I moved to Aspen, Colorado to be a ski bum for a year or two. It was something I had always dreamt of doing. But I didn't know a soul. I didn't have a place to live. I didn't have a job. I eventually got a job as a reservationist in a luxury ski lodge. Within the first 6 months, I was promoted to the head of reservations. And then 6 months later, I was promoted to the head of sales and public relations. And when I reflect back on why I got those opportunities, it was because I was the only one that showed up when it snowed. So my advice to my 24-year-old self would be to make sure that you're the one who shows up when it snows, because that's when opportunities present themselves.
That's great advice. And then Peggy? Thank you.
My grandmother just passed at 102 last year, just before Christmas. So as I was sitting there at dinner with my kids on the last day of the last decade, I felt this pressing need to share with them the secret to their purpose, their life, and the universe itself. So I said to them, when you feel powerless, know that all humans have the extraordinary power to create, just like mom and dad created you. What you need to know is that you're a fragment of the original creator who has infinite potential to create. And that means you also have no limits. Everything is within your reach. You have the power to shape your life. All you have to do is simply focus on what brings you joy and use your power of imagination to dream of a world where everything that brings you joy is in one place. So now that you know that you have the power to shape the world, you have the power to shape reality itself, you have the responsibility to create good ones. So if you want to learn more about the secret to life that I shared with my kids, check out my new Facebook page, I Create Reality.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much for those answers.